Hello there, lovely folks of YouTube, Ren here. I'm on my new camera, which is a little more difficult to take selfies and the like on, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a tour of the garden here in late May, because I know I did one for early May, and we're kind of trying to get in twice this month. So I am currently in between rains. Noisy from the road there. Currently in between rains, so it is very wet out here in my garden. We had a line of thunderstorms come through about an hour ago, and then we're scheduled to get another one in about another hour, so things are looking very wet and droopy out here at the moment, but that's just because they're weighed down with rain. They will perk up again and be happy once things have dried off. So let me swing this around, and we'll start with my blueberry bushes. Alright. So my blueberries, I had to put netting on them, but you can see I have a lot of fruit ready, and in fact on this one over here, it looks like I need to do some picking. So that's really cool. Hang on. See if I can get this to focus. The camera doesn't want to focus very well, so we'll try to do this manually. There we go. You can see my herb bed is doing well in some parts. So my chives still have a lot of flowers on them. Fennel is getting quite tall, as is the spearmint next to it. I do have a few new plants that I planted in here that hopefully will do well. So these little bitty ones here up along my lattice work, that is Clitoria ternatea, or butterfly pea. You may notice a little bit of anatomy in the genus name of that plant. It is named after the part of the body that it is said to, the flowers are said to resemble. So, and it looks like I have something popping up here. I'm not sure what that is. So I'll have to keep an eye on that and see what it is. A few little baby basil plants in here as well. And then of course my marjoram is actually getting pretty leggy here. It looks like I need to trim that back and harvest some of that. And there's lots of weeds that have popped up in this rain, of course. You can see my tree is sagging under the weight of the rain. This is my vegetable bed that I've started on. You can see my tomatoes are here, and I have the soaker hose set up for watering. They haven't needed to use it yet, but in the summertime they will be getting that soaker hose as watering. It's best to bottom water them because that discourages the fungal growth that might like to grow on the leaves if the leaves are wet. So these guys are going to need some stakes very soon in order to train their growth. Alongside them is going to be zucchini eventually. Over in this bed, the only thing I have so far is my banana peppers, which are starting to put out a few flowers. I have my little lattice was taken down from that bed and will be moved over to this bed. I do tend to rotate it. That's why it has sort of that PVC pipe construction, is so that I can move it from place to place. And you can see the lattice that I have on this bed is currently full of pea plants that are in full bloom and making lots of pea pods for me. And a few of these, this one here, that looks like it's ready for harvest. See how nice and round and fat it is. So I'm going to have to come out here later. Hopefully it won't be as wet. Asparagus is about as tall as I am right now. And even though it's rainy, there's still a few wasps somewhere in there. Wasps regularly inhabit my asparagus. What they're actually doing is they are hunting for the asparagus worms that like to eat the growth. So they are natural predators, and I encourage their growth. I encourage their feasting. So you can see here, got some apples on my apple tree. This one is the Arkansas black apple, so very cool there. I might actually have to thin out some of this fruit because the tree is a little young to support all that fruit. I've got a couple apples on this one as well, the Albemarle Pippin. And then this tree over here is just weighed down between the rain and the huge amounts of apples on it. Trying to get that in focus for you. I am still learning how to use this camera. So photography is something that I did as a child. I would oftentimes take over my parents' camera. So that was something that kind of came naturally to me. Videography is a new skill for me. So I apologize if I'm occasionally out of focus here. You can see my rue plant here is one of the ones that's looking very saggy during the rain. Oh my, this one's really saggy. Oh, that's my chamomile right there. It looks like it's been stomped flat. Some of that will bounce back up, but it will come back up. It'll be fine. I actually do have a flower on my chamomile. Look at this. Look at that little flower there. And then there's a few other buds here. You can see them kind of on the edges. It will stand back up once it's dry again. Calendula's also got flowers on it. You can see that there. Those probably need to be harvested, but it's kind of hard. Oh, droopy. So I'm happy that bounced back. The nibbling that it got from the rabbit doesn't seem to have affected it much. This is one that I actually haven't really talked about much because it hasn't really been visible before now. But this is my Inula helenium, or elecampane plant. I have two of them here. This is actually a little on the small side for elecampane because these are transplants I just put in last fall after I harvested my previous elecampane plants. They had gotten to about 3 years old, and that's perfect for harvesting because the primary part we use from those is the roots. But they will get very tall. They get up just about to the top of my deck there. And in fact, in the past, I've had chipmunks use them as a ladder to climb up onto my deck. You can see my yarrow here is also getting ready to bloom. This one is a red flowered yarrow. So when that blooms, it will kind of be like a pinky red color instead of the traditional white or yellow that you commonly see. My thyme is also in bloom. Numerous flowers on that. Let's see if I can get that in focus. There we go. So, and that's one that bees really love. This is one of two thymes that I have now. This is my standard garden thyme. And then I just bought a new one, which I placed next to it here. Whoop. There it is. And that is the Thymus citrodora, or lemon thyme, next to it. So we'll see how well that one does. The first thyme is doing rather well on that spot. This looks like a tangled mess right now. Again, a lot of it is flopped over from the rain. Some of it needs to be harvested, such as this guy right here. That's my wormwood. So that will actually benefit from harvesting because where I cut it back, it will then make more side growth instead of that really tall, leggy growth. You can see my Angelica has gotten to maximum growth here. And in fact, if I step in, I'm trying not to step on my other plants. You can see some of the seeds that are forming with their water drops, raindrops on them. I also have foxglove blooming here amongst the elder. And of course the elder is in bloom as well. Elder tends to stagger its blooms. So you can see like some of them here. The flowers have already fallen. This one here is in full bloom. And this one here is just about to open. Valerian is the one that's kind of leaning over the path right here. It always does that when it gets to its full growth. It just kind of flops over every year. And that one, the flowers are mostly gone. Comfrey is also starting to flop over. This is one that I usually will cut down once it flops over. And then add it to my compost. Or make comfrey tea for fertilizing my plants. And usually within 2 to 3 weeks of me cutting it down to the ground, it will just pop right back up to where it was before. So I'm not going to go too far into here because that valerian is blocking my path and I need to prop it up again. But you can see, sort of. Let's see if it can focus here. Well, sort of see. Oh, no. Well, you get a very soft focus there, maybe. So, pond is running, needs a little water added to it. That really tall one, the one that's getting tall there, is my meadowsweet. And that's where I have my goddess statue, is actually among the meadowsweet there. But yeah, not too many things blooming right now, but they will be soon. Oh, actually, there is one other thing I want to point out. This thing is getting ready. Oh, I'm trying to get over there without slipping. There we go. Look at this guy, just about to bloom here. How exciting is that? That's my aconitum, monk's hood. This is a new plant that I just planted this year. So to get a really big flower spike on it in its first year, I am pretty stoked about that. So, and it looks like that one is about as tall as it's going to get to. It comes up to, well, it looks like about 3.5 feet tall. But yeah, so we're kind of in between bloom times in the garden, but that's okay. There will be more things blooming soon. And I know it's kind of a rainy day, but that's also okay because the rain is good for the garden. It means I haven't had to water in quite some time. And there are a lot of things that are really benefiting from it. So anyway, that's all I have for now. I hope this video finds you well, and I will see you again soon.